Hi, my name is Henry Ogala, and today I'm going to talk about industrial pollution and environmental policy. What is industrial pollution? Industrial pollution is characterized as pollution that originates directly from industry. This form of pollution is one of the most common sources of pollution around the world. Industrial operations are a significant cause of pollutants in the air, water, and soil, which results in sickness and deaths around the world. And this picture right here, as you can see, is an industrial city, and you can see the smoke coming up from the buildings, which is actually polluting the air. Some notable companies that contribute to industrial pollution would be the Coca-Cola Company, the Pepsi Company, Nestle, Bayer, and Tyson Foods. Effects of industrial pollution. Industrial pollution disrupts natural habitats. It pollutes the air and the water, contributes to global warming, which, as we all know, is a big problem in the world, pollutes the soil, creates lung and heart diseases, and contributes to wildlife extinction. To talk a little bit more about the lung and heart diseases, or just diseases in general from industrial pollution, one of the articles that I read for this project actually talked about how in India, a pharmaceutical company was polluting the Musi River with their industrial waste, and it was actually causing some of the citizens that use that water for everyday life, it was causing them to obtain fungal diseases. And at first, the diseases were actually being able to be treated in 6 weeks, but after a while, they started mutating, and it took almost 6 months now for those diseases to be eradicated. Ways to prevent industrial pollution. Industry site selection. So this is pretty much just saying that where companies choose to make their industry sites should be out of harm's way, not around communities, so that their waste and their smoke and all those other things doesn't get into the citizens' lives. Proper treatment of industrial waste. So pretty much just getting rid of all the waste in a proper way, not just putting it in water nearby, making sure there's a place where they can actually put it that it won't harm people around them. And if the waste can't be used for good, like can't be recycled, just making sure that it's put in a place where it doesn't do any harm. Switching to clean energy resources. So this is pretty much just saying that, like, instead of using electrical energy or gas energy, you can use something like solar energy. And using solar panels, like companies use solar panels nowadays too, and that will save a lot of energy. Regulation and environmental policy. This is a big thing. This is probably the best way to prevent industrial pollution, because these are laws that are enacted to prevent industrial pollution. And companies, corporations, they have to follow sets of rules too. And if there's rules put in place to stop them from doing these things, then they should follow them. If not, they'll face hefty fines. Environmental policy. Environmental policy is the commitment of an organization or government to the laws, regulations, and other policy mechanisms concerning environmental issues. Some of the topics that environmental policy covers are sustainable exhibitions, sustainable procurement, sustainable design, going green on energy, pollution reduction, conservation of resources, sustainability awareness. Environmental policies that impact industrial pollution. The Environmental Protection Agency was created in 1970, and so that's pretty much just an agency that their job is pretty much to stop industrial pollution and all things that hurt the environment. Their mission is to protect human health and preserve the natural environment. And one act that they created is the Clean Air Act, which requires the EPA to set national standards for air pollutants at levels that protect public health and the environment. Pretty much just regulating air pollution from companies. The Resource Conservation and Recovery Act of 1976. And this gave the EPA authority to manage hazardous waste from cradle to grave. And cradle to grave means from the moment of creation to the moment it's destroyed. In conclusion, industrial pollution damages the environment and causes local and global environments to deteriorate. In response, the U.S. has developed many regulatory programs designed to limit the spread of industrial pollution. The U.S. is the most expensive country when it comes to environmental regulation. It costs $220 billion a year to maintain environmental regulation in the U.S. So for my final thoughts, I pretty much just say that obviously industrial pollution is a big problem, but I think the bigger problem is that companies that pollute the world, they make so much money that it's almost at times like regulation doesn't really affect them because they make so much money and have so much influence. So I think places like the EPA and just us as citizens can find ways to get companies to notice their faults. And if companies like CEOs, the stakeholders, can actually take authority of their mishaps and realize that they have a duty to protect the environment, I think that'll go a long way in helping the environment and reducing industrial pollution. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.